In this video I want to share with you why I really don't like Nha Trang anymore, why I don't want to come back here anymore, don't want to travel here, because I'm disappointed. And why I'm so disappointed, I will talk about this today, but that was not always the case. Actually, Nha Trang, or Nha Trang as the local Vietnamese call it, was one of my, if not the favorite city in Southeast Asia for some years, but that has changed. The first time I came to Nha Trang was in 2019, and that was by sheer accident, because in 2019 one of my good friends was working here as a chef, and he told me about Nha Trang and that he is here now, and so I decided to visit him. So I flew to Nha Trang in South Vietnam, and I remember I was shocked when I arrived here, but in a very positive way. I've never seen South Vietnam before, and it was just beautiful, beautiful beaches. It was clean, nice hotels, modern, great infrastructure. And then of course the most amazing thing were the prices, the cost of living. It was so cheap compared to other Southeast Asian countries. So the whole package was just amazing. I was stunned. I couldn't believe it. So I initially stayed only 10 days, but I immediately decided to return to Nha Trang as soon as possible, and then I stayed for 1 month. I rented for 1 month. I don't know, I paid like $250 for my apartment at the time. And that was the time when I really fell in love with Nha Trang. And yeah, at the time there were already lots of tourists here, like Chinese tourists we had in 2019. We had Korean tourists and also a lot of Russians. But I didn't bother at the time, so I came back in 2020, and that was the time right before when Vietnam locked down the country. I remember I had my second visa already. I stayed 1 month, I had my second visa already in my pocket, but then they canceled the visa. Anyway, long story short, in 2022, after Vietnam reopened the country, I returned again to Nha Trang. So I did not count how many times I counted, but I forgot, but I probably visited Nha Trang 5 or 6 times during the past 6 years. The last time I was here was exactly 2 years ago, and now I'm back, and I don't like it anymore. Why is that? Simply it has become way too touristy for me. Way too many tourists and people, especially Russians. And before I talk about the Russians, I'm probably also in a bad area here. Before I talk about the Russians, so I'm recording this video. It's 8 a.m. in the morning now. It's a little bit noisy. I will soon go to the beach side where it is a little bit, hopefully not so noisy. Now during this time there are not so many white tourists, let's say. around because they're having breakfast now, they're getting up, and they will hit the beach later. So you're not gonna see many of them now. But let me cross the street first, and then I'm gonna see you on the other side, yeah? So, yeah, the noise. This is also one thing which turns me off in Vietnam. But that's how it is here. Let's talk about the Russians a little bit. So I do not have anything against the Russians. I actually have to say good things about them. I remember in 2019 when I arrived here, as I mentioned, I noticed a lot of Russians here, but you know what I also noticed was that, wow, these people are very friendly, polite, low profile, you know, not noisy, not loud, not rude. Most of them were families, you know, mother, father, and their kids, children, spending a week or two here on holiday. Because Nha Trang used to be a Russian naval base, and therefore it is still very, very popular among Russians. It's kind of a phenomena. But anyway, at the time, yeah, I found, because you know, you hear these bad stories from other people, like yeah, the Russians, you know, they are so noisy and they're rude and they're just drinking and getting wasted and are noisy and this and that. And no, not at all. I actually like the Russians a lot because they were so, yeah, they're blending in here, they do their thing, they don't bother anyone, nothing. The Russians are very, very easy going tourists. I also worked for them in Southeast Asia, by the way, I can tell you. There are way worse nationalities around than the Russians. So now you might ask, well, what's the problem? Are you complaining about the Russians now, or what's the big deal? It's not about the Russians, it's about the amount of tourists who are here. You know, you can replace the Russians with Polish guys or with French or even German guys. I wouldn't like it also. Yeah. Because I don't know, flying around half the globe just to be among a bunch of white people, that's not my purpose of traveling in Southeast Asia. Yeah? And that's the main reason why I don't like Nha Trang anymore. It's way too many tourists here now, especially Russians. And the area I'm staying now, yeah, I picked the Russian area, I must say, but I stayed at other places before, and I stayed actually in a quieter part before, but I also checked this place out. It is just Russians everywhere and tourists everywhere. It's just too much for me now. And it's like Patong in Thailand, really, yeah, or like Bali. This is disgusting for me, you know. I don't like it, and I won't come back so soon. Not to Nha Trang. I released videos a few years ago talking very nicely about Nha Trang, and that was all true. At the time I was happy. I compared Nha Trang to Da Nang. I have a video out, and I must honestly say now Da Nang is much better than Nha Trang. Here are way too many people, but it's normal, right? Because tourism has picked up again. It's back to normal, and it will increase and increase and increase, like in these other destinations in Southeast Asia. This is just the quote normal development, I guess. And don't get me wrong, it's good for the people here, yeah, for the local folks, for the Vietnamese. That's good. You know, because this is their main income stream here. So I wish them all the best, but you know, this is nothing for me, because I have seen all these touristy crowded places in Southeast Asia. I'm so turned off by them. And you know, with this tourism also come come problems, you know. Some of you know, when you travel to these touristy places in Thailand or even in Indonesia or other places, the local people also change because they get more greedy. Yeah, you get the chances of getting ripped off is much higher also here in Nha Trang now than in other places in Vietnam. This is nothing particular with the Vietnamese people, you know, but I think I guess that's how it is, right? Where the money is flowing in, people also want to have a share, and this is disgusting for me. It's annoying, you know. If you are just looked at as an ATM machine and everybody wants a piece of you and take advantage of you, then the English level here has not improved at all, which is ridiculous. The only words these Vietnamese people can speak is massage, massage. Do you want massage? And every second shop is a massage shop, you know. All the buildings here in Nha Trang are hotels, you know. That's why the prices are still cheap, but things are also getting more expensive here now. It's crazy. I mean, when you compare it to the previous years, and this will continue. So that's my resume here. Also, I give you one example. You know how difficult it is here for me to find a proper local lunch place, you know, a rice shop. They call it gom shops here. You can find these things anywhere in Vietnam, but here in these tourist places they kind of disappeared. You only have overpriced restaurants now, and I refuse to eat in these overpriced restaurants. And some people now might say, yeah, you know, why overpriced? You know, the pizza here costs me $6 or $7. No, this is not what you do when you are in Vietnam or Southeast Asia. This is the big mistake many people make. They convert local prices into dollars, euros, and pounds sterling. Yeah, of course, when you convert, it's cheap, you know. A pizza $6 only here, and over there I get the steak for $8. And you continue doing this, you end up spending hundreds of dollars during your trip just on food. And you think you were smart and saved the buck. You're stupid because you wasted money. You have to think in terms of local purchasing power. What can get Vietnamese dong? What can get a Vietnamese dong here in this country? And for $6 or $7 or $8, you can have already like 5-6 meals, simple Vietnamese meals, you know. So it's very hard for me to find these shops, you know, because they all disappeared. I found them because I know my way around here, you know, but it's annoying to walk 15 minutes to avoid all these lunch shops, you know. And I like to have authentic Vietnamese food, you know. I'm not into wasting my money for what? For Western food, which I can have even more overpriced in my home country, right? That's not the point of traveling. So, and then obviously I also have changed, you know, my preferences have changed. I like it more quiet now, you know. You see this area here now, this is more a quieter area here. I think people with more money are staying here. Here we have the Sheraton Hotel and the Interconti also. And this is not so much a Russian area, although you also have Russians here. But as I said, it's now 8 o'clock in the morning, so not many people are hanging around on the beach, you know. But I also have changed, you know. And everything, I guess, has its time. But I was really, really disappointed, I must say. And when I arrived here, I was even thinking like, I actually didn't want to stay 1 month, you know. But I stayed. Now I'm staying a month, you know. But initially I wanted to leave, and that would never have happened a few years ago, because I always wanted to come here because of the great look at this. I mean, look at this. I don't need to explain anything. A clean beach. It's a little bit hazy today. Look at this. And the prices here, it's ridiculous. It's so cheap when you compare it to other Southeast Asian countries. Yeah, but again, I don't like crowds of any sort anymore. And yeah, I don't know, also the Vietnamese culture is something, you know, I don't like so much anymore. The noise, the Vietnamese people, let's put it like this, they are not the most friendly ones in Southeast Asia. This is just my experience, this is my conclusion, and I traveled to Vietnam many times. I also worked in Vietnam, in Hanoi, many years back. So, but when I compare the Vietnamese people and culture to other Southeast Asian countries, I say, no, I don't need to have that anymore. I don't need it. I don't want it. Yeah, but of course, Nha Trang, this beach city here or other beach cities, on Vietnam in general, of course, has its pros and advantages. You know, still, even here in Nha Trang, because there are so many hotels, there are more hotel rooms than guests arriving here. I don't know how many tens of thousands of hotel rooms are here. It's actually ridiculous, because this is what the Vietnamese do. They just copy, you know. Somebody builds a hotel, then everybody thinks, oh, we also have to make a hotel. It's ridiculous. Massage shops, food shops, this is too many of them, you know. Anyway, so therefore the renting prices are still very affordable here. You can get rooms, very nice hotel rooms, smaller rooms of course, for $200 per month. But my prediction is this will also change, because the tourism will increase. More people even will come here, which I can almost not imagine. So prices will increase. Yeah? But still, it is okay. Vietnam is still a very affordable alternative. When you are a cost-conscious guy and want to save money, you have to look at the whole package. So cost of living is excellent in Vietnam still, I have to say. Then you get a good functioning infrastructure here with functioning roads. Yeah, at least the roads are in place, and you don't have any trains and stuff like that. But you know, believe me, the infrastructure is okay. Yeah, you have buses, you have functioning roads, the internet is working, food is great and cheap. You have supermarkets here, you can get anything you want. Yeah? And you have beautiful nature, beautiful landscapes, beaches, mountains. Nha Trang is very nice. It has mountains, it has beaches, it has lakes, you know. You wouldn't believe. You can do island hopping as well. It's actually a great place. Value for money, 100%. Yeah. I want to be fair here. It's the personal thing, you know. But maybe some of you also don't like crowded places, and you hear many things about Nha Trang, you know, because this is also due to social media and, you know, people picking up on that, and they make more and more videos. And you know, like 6 years ago, that was a secret tip, and I told all my buddies, you know, I couldn't believe it. I said, nobody's coming here. What's going on? What's wrong? You know, but due to YouTube and social media, you know, of course, more and more people are excited about these places, which is valid, and then they share their stories, right? And then, so you know how it goes. More and more people are coming. But this is the time when I have to leave. You know, this is too much, too many people. I guess I have to look for other places, but there are plenty of secret hidden places here in Vietnam, I can tell you, where no expat, no Westerner, no Western tourists are going yet, you know, because this here now, this is now mainstream. It has become mainstream, and you know how it is with mainstream, you know, and like in other areas, people just flocking here, and then they think this is the best thing since sliced bread. But anyway, just wanted to share this with you. My thoughts about Nha Trang in South Vietnam, why I don't like it at all anymore, and why I won't return so fast to this place. Let me know what you think. Have you been here? Have you traveled here? Are you planning to travel here? Or do you agree with me? I mean, everybody has different preferences. Some guys might say, you know, I don't care about the tourists. I don't care about these Russians, or I do my thing, you know, I don't need them, I don't watch them, I don't care about them. But, you know, for me, it's like, I want to feel like being in Asia and not like being in a shopping mall, you know. This is also one thing, you know, of course, advertising anywhere and everywhere, because everyone wants to sell you something here, you know. It's ridiculous. It's like, yeah, it's like Patong in Thailand. Do you know Patong? Yeah? You don't like it also, then don't come here, you know. I warned you. Anyway, let me know what you think. Maybe you're disagreeing with me, but again, it's still great value for money. Yeah? If you are a cost-conscious guy and don't want to spend so much money on accommodation or something like that, then Nha Trang is still a good option. With that being said, I'm checking out for the day. Thank you, Gam Eun, and see you in one of my next videos. Take care, bye bye.